Hey guys, this is Neverending Reader and I'm Brittany and welcome to my June TBR. So I'm planning on taking part in 3 readathons for June. The first one being Smutathon, which will be included in this TBR. And I'm also probably going to do Buzzwordathon and Summerathon, but I will do separate TBRs for those. So this TBR is just going to be my May TBR and Smutathon. So first things first, we have a couple buddy reads here. So I'm going to be reading My Lovely Wife by Samantha Downing, and I'm going to be reading this with Sophie. I'm going to read all of these buddy reads with Sophie. I will link her down below, but this is a thriller and I don't want to read the inside of the cover, so unfortunately that's just going to be the description that like everybody gets with thrillers on this channel, so I'm sorry if that bugs you, but I just don't want to spoil myself. So I am very excited to start reading this with Sophie sometime in June. I am also going to be buddy reading An Anonymous Girl by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. I'm going to be reading this with Sophie, and I think this one is actually about, if I remember correctly, I read the synopsis once when I got it from Book of the Month. I think it had something to do with like 2 women maybe going into like a study, like a psychology study, and they like don't expect what happens to them. I don't know. It's a thriller, so I'm not going to read the inside of the cover, but sometime in June, Sophie and I will be buddy reading this, and I'm very hyped for it. I am also going to be buddy reading Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. This is a reread for me. I read it when it first came out from the library, and I am a big Darkling stan, so like I'm really pumped to read this again. So if you're unfamiliar with this series, which I'm sure you're not, this is a fantasy YA series. There's 3 books, I believe. So this follows our main character, Alina, and I believe she is a soldier traveling to the Shadowfold until one day she releases some dormant magic she didn't know she had, and I'm not going to go further than that as far as the description. Just know it is a YA fantasy, and I don't want to spoil anybody for like anything, so that's all I'm going to say about this one. I am also going to be reading A List of Cages by Robin Rowe. This was a TBR jar pick from last month, but it's the only one that I didn't get around to, so I'm gonna go ahead and let it float over to this month. And my neighbor just definitely fucking saw me filming. Anyways, this is about 2 young boys, and I think they're like long lost siblings, like foster brothers or something, and they like come back together, and like I don't know what happens from there, but I'm going to definitely be reading this in June. So as far as Smutathon goes, I'm not going to be doing like a line on the bingo board. I'm just going to be picking a couple books and like trying to fit them in somewhere. So the first thing that I'm going to be reading is The Proposal by Jasmine Guillory. I'm probably saying that wrong. This is about a young woman who is at a baseball game, and her boyfriend like makes this like elaborate proposal, and she's like, no, because I like don't really know him that well, I think was the case. And like the whole stadium is like freaking out, and so she gets like escorted out by this like probably handsome man, and then I'm sure we all know what happens from there. But I'm going to be buddy reading this with Sophie again for the Smutathon, and I'm pretty hyped. I think this can actually fill a few challenges, so I'll figure that out as I go along, and hopefully it's good. The next Smutathon book that I'm going to be reading is Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. I think this one fits into the forbidden romance category, because if I remember the synopsis correctly, it's about a young girl and her boyfriend, and for some like circumstantial reason she has to like move into her boyfriend's dad's house. So her boyfriend and her boyfriend's dad lives there, and I think like her and her boyfriend's dad like strike up a romance, so that might be interesting. I am also going to be reading The Duchess Deal by Tessa Dare on recommendation of Sophie, because she reads a lot of romance and I don't, so I don't know what The Duchess Deal is about, but I'm assuming it's like some royalty romance, and romance is like super not my thing, but maybe a book like this will actually get me into romance because I do love historical fiction. And the last book I'm going to be reading is Possession. I think that's by Rachel Hawkins. I will put it here if editing Brittany is not lazy, but I don't know what this is about either. Sophie said it's like one of her favorite books of all time and one of her favorite romances, so I was like, you know what, it's free on Kindle, so I'm just going to go get it. I thought I had it downloaded already, but apparently I don't, so That's why I'm not holding it up. So yeah, I will be reading that for Smutathon. So now as far as my TBR jar picks go, I'm actually going to take it easy this month because I already have a float over from last month and I plan on doing like a ton of readathons. So I'm just going to do 2 picks and I'm actually going to have my daughter pick them for me. So I'm going to go get her. Okay, so this is Athena, this is my daughter, and she is going to be doing my TBR jar picks. So I'm going to have her pick 2 pieces of paper out of the TBR jar, and then we have to find the books.
Yay!
So here is my jar. I switched it out to a little chip cup. If you're wondering why my angle changed, it's because she's short. Okay, Athena, go ahead and pick 1 piece of paper first. And what does it say?
The Junkyard Dog.
The Junkyard Dog. That's a kid's book. Maybe we can read it together. Let's go find it. I know where it is. Okay, so we have The Junkyard Dog by Erica Tamar. Do you want to hold it? So it looks like this one is about a little girl who finds a dog in a junkyard and she's like trying to save him. So this might be really cute and nice. So it looks like Athena picked a good one. What do you think?
I'll try to read the first page.
Okay. Ready for another pick?
Yay!
Okay. Pick 1 and then read it to me. I'll close my eyes.
The Wolf of Wall Street.
The Wolf of Wall Street. Okay. That's interesting. I think that's nonfiction. Okay, so I have The Wolf of Wall Street by Jordan Belfort. I've seen this movie and I absolutely loved it. And I know I think I'm actually in the minority when it comes to that one. But this is about a man who is not a good person and ends up going to jail, which is no good. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this should be interesting. It's actually kind of thick, so yay. Okay, so that is it for this video. Thank you for watching this far if you have, and we will catch you in the next video. Bye!